Morning!
Good morning, guys.
Nakataray, naka-makeup na. Morning! Third day! Si Renz nasa toilet.
Finale of our Scotland.
Ano?
Finale.
Yeah, the finale.
Yes.
See you later!
Excited ako makita ang mga cow.
Ready? Dai?
Yeah.
Ready for today's video? Ay, ganda. Ganda rin, Dai. Red ang hair. Dai, kain na, Dai. Breakfast muna kami. McDonald's. Sila lang pala.
Ba't hindi kumain?
Kape lang ako, Dai. Nasusuka ko. Dai!
Oo nga.
Ganda-ganda ng outfit niya, no?
Sisimba yan sa
Pag
True.
nanginig mamaya.
Parang hindi mag-Highlands tour.
Si Mama ka.
Totoo pati yung bag parang room. Yung iba na.
Tsaka yung hikaw o pang party. Gusto niyo ba dito sa harap? May dito tayo sa harap. Dito kami.
Tapos hindi pala pwede dito kasi yung conductor dito.
About 6 or 7 stories tall. And also, if you look at the windows and doorways, you'll see they're all very small and narrow. And that's just because of these walls, the buildings we had available, we had to cram as many people in as we possibly could. So, living conditions up in the old town weren't the greatest. Now, eventually, when we couldn't expand the city up the way or out the way any longer, we had to go outside these walls, and we came down, we built a new town. Now, when I say new town, right, it's not very new at all. It was actually opened in the 1850s. And when it first opened, there was just 3 main streets with 2 squares at either end. You had Princess Street, George Street, Queen Street, and then St Andrews Square and Charlotte Square. Now, once we make our way through these traffic lights, this will be us crossing over the first main street of the new town, which is Princess Street. Now, Princess Street is the main shopping street in Edinburgh. So during your time here, if you are looking to come and spend all your money on nonsense you'll probably never wear or use again, have a little wander along Princess Street here. So this is us into the new town. If you take a look at the buildings down here, you'll see they're a lot more spacious looking than they were up in the old town. That's because the new town was purpose built for the rich and the wealthy of Edinburgh. So living conditions down here were so much better than they were up in the old town. At these traffic lights, we'll be crossing over the second main street, which is George Street. Now once we get up onto George Street, if you look along to your right, at the end of the road there's going to be a bus stop there. So just along there where those airport buses are, that is where I'm going to be dropping you off this evening. So it's quite convenient, it's right in the centre of the new town. Right, you've got loads of bars and restaurants on George Street. You've got taxi ranks, the tram stop, you've got the bus station just behind St Andrews Square, so very convenient if you're looking to go somewhere else after. So like I said, George Street, loads of bars and restaurants, a few nightclubs as well if you're into that sort of thing. So while you're here, if you're going out for food and drink, have a wander along George Street. There's loads of different types and styles of bars and restaurants, so you're bound to find something that you want. Now, what I will say about George Street though is it can get quite expensive. Right, so if you're maybe here on a bit of a budget, just stay away from George Street. But a wee top tip for you though is most of the bars and restaurants do have their menu out front, and their menu has their price list. So just have a look at the price list, and if it's too expensive, just run away. It's fine. Now, at these traffic lights, we're going to be turning left and onto the third and final main street of the new town, which is called Queen Street. Now, there's not really that much happening down here. It's mostly just businesses and residential homes. It's the main road people drive through if they're coming through the new town as well. Now, I just want to double check, now that I've been talking for a little bit, can everyone understand me okay?
Yeah.
Good. Always helps. Now, don't get me wrong, I know the Scottish accent's a little bit hard to understand at times. Right? I know we say some weird words as well. So if there is something that you do miss or you don't understand, come and ask. Right? I will happily repeat anything that you do miss. But just a word of warning though, if I do have to repeat something, chances are it will just sound the exact same. So basically, if you don't understand me now, good luck. It's going to be a long day. Now, speaking of a long day, what I want to do is just go over the plan, the kind of things we're going to be seeing and doing along the way. So just now we're going to try and make our way out of Edinburgh as quickly as possible and start making our way towards the highlands. Now there's 3 roads that link the lowlands to the highlands. There's one up the west coast, one up the middle and one up the east coast. Now during this tour we don't go near the east coast, alright, but don't worry, you're not missing much. It's boring over there anyway. So this morning we're going to be heading up the west coast. Now, for me, the west coast is by far the most beautiful part of Scotland. Right? Absolutely stunning scenery to be seen as we make our way up there. On our way up, we're going to be driving past Stirling, making our way through the Loch and Trossachs National Park, heading up through Rannochmoor, Glencoe, see places like Fort Augustus, Fort William, and then obviously we'll get up to Loch Ness. Now, when we get up to Loch Ness, you guys have an opportunity, a chance to go and visit an old ruined castle called Urquhart Castle. It sits on a little outcroppy land about halfway up Loch Ness. Stunning setting for a castle. You're going to have about an hour to explore around the castle, and then you'll make your way over to a little pier where you'll get on a boat. Boat picks you up from Urquhart Castle, and then you're going to sail along Loch Ness. Now, Loch Ness sits in a little tight, narrow valley, so you've got mountains either side of you covered in a thick forest. So again, you will get some beautiful views as you're sailing along. So all in all, that is a 1.5 hour trip. 1 hour castle visit followed by a 30-minute cruise on Loch Ness. Now that is an optional extra, right? So you do need to pay for that. You get your tickets from me, I've got them in my bag behind me. And it's £30 per adult and 21 per child. Right? Children are just classed as 15 and under. Now obviously I don't need to know right now if you want to do the cruise and castle, but I do need to know at our first stop, just because I need to phone up and secure you guys a seat on the boat. Because it does get quite busy, pretty much sells out every day. So I like to phone up nice and early just to guarantee you guys a seat. So I will go into it in a little bit more detail as we're getting closer to our first stop, but for now just know it's an option you have for later. Now it didn't really affect the Scottish throne until James was on it though. Now obviously the Protestant church wanted the next king to be a Protestant. But the only problem was everyone in line was Catholic, because like I said, that's the way it had been for 1,000 years before. So in order to find a Protestant claim to the throne, they had to jump 47 people in line, until they found a guy called William. William of Orange was his name. He had a claim through marriage. He was married to King James's daughter, Mary. Now the Protestants felt William would be a great leader. Right? He's a very strong-minded man.
A must-have, a hand warmer.
Charity are their names. Now in between the first and second Sister Hope and Faith there's a valley. This is known as the Hidden Valley of Glencoe. Now as we get alongside it, if you look up the Hidden Valley and imagine how difficult that would be to walk up there. Right? And that comes into the story that I want to share with you. And that'll make more sense when I actually share the story with you. So. Right, now there's a few wee lay-bys that we can stop off here. There's a couple of buses in it already, one even. But there's a lay-by just coming around here to our right, which hopefully it's not too busy and I can get in. No, that's too busy as well.
Hoy, ingat! Ang ganda, grabe.
Huwag na tayo umakyat, may pabulas.
Sobrang ganda.
Ang lamig, puta. Ito tayong dalawa.
Trip around Scotland. And just over to our right as we pitched our tent, and then in the morning we decided to hike up and go for a wee shower. It was awesome.
What's Ben Affleck?
So here's my beautiful friend. The most beautiful of all. There, si Auntie.
Who's wearing a skirt in a winter time?
just a second, yeah? Yeah, so I'll show you this. I'll hand it to you, 2 hands like that, and no swinging, especially at your sister. Okay? There you go. And then hold it up, turn round.
Have a look.
Round.
Wow. There you go. Oh, yeah, what? Is it heavy? No.
There you go. So the reason it's not sharp is because we fight with these in reenactments, so we don't want to actually, yeah. But you can imagine.
Sabi nung nagbebenta dun
Sa taas na kami.
Ano nararamdaman mo? Sasakay tayo ng boat.
Me, I'm excited. I'm
so
Ikaw?
excited.
Ikaw?
I'm so excited.
I'm so nervous.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Kinakabahan ako talaga. Ano? Jump shot ka dahil papunta sa kabila. Huwag na. So sa taas na nga tayo. Diyan kami galing oh. Umikot lang tayo dahil. Ano yun?
Parang i-grant daw ng mga fairy yung parang
Ay,
eternal beauty.
ay oo.
Diba?
Yes, yes, yes. At least nakababa na tayo ng ano. Ano ba tawag doon, barko? Ano ba yun? Ng cruise. Super ferry. May pa falls. Totoo. Ngayon yung galing sa taas, sister.
Hindi ba sabi galing sa
Tsaka
Mamaya sasabihin ko sa inyo.
Bakit?
Ang alin ba?
Ganyan talaga ako.
Paano ganyan talaga?
Ganyan,
Saan daw
parang
tayo?
waterfall.
Doon daw sa likod ng car park.
Waterfall ba?
Pag nilalabasan.
Hoy, hindi ko to i-edit. Sorry.
Saan na ba nagsabi?
Bahala kayo dyan.
Uy, ihi tayo dito. Baka may ihian dito.
Bili tayo ng mga gifts.
Ano pa ba tayo?
because they're free, don't think they're going to be rubbish, right? I've done them a few times, right? If friends and family come and visit and I can't be bothered being a tour guide, I'll just book on one of these free walking tours. Now, sometimes the free ones are actually better than the ones that you'll pay for, right? Not always, of course, right? But sometimes they are. And that's because of the way that they work is these tour guides that are doing them for free, they're not being paid to do them, right? So sometimes they put more of an effort in because the only way they get paid is if you tip them at the end of their tour, right? So just bear that in mind that if you do go on a free walking tour, the tour guide's not being paid. So if they do a good job, see them all right at the end. Right? If they're rubbish though, don't bother. Deserves to be free if they're rubbish.
Siyempre, hindi pwedeng walang Jollibee. Edinburgh!
Yes, tastes different from last
Meron
time.
silang ano oh,
Yes.
Dubai Pistachio Emerald.
Of course.
Ito.
Scottish chicken joy tastes different.
Going home! Going back to London!
Yes. We are knackered. Knackered na.
You're knackered?
Yes. Yes.
You can do it!
Bye-bye.
Bye Holiday Inn! Thank you for today's video!